I wanted to get Tyrese's opinion on this, because in the lead up to this weekend, when I was working last week, a lot of the chatter, a lot of the questions we were getting on air was, are the Warriors making Steph Curry do too much? Is the supporting cast doing enough to put them in a position to win? And what I've sort of seen is the answer to that is no, he's not doing too much. He's Steph Curry. He's one of the best players ever. Like, he's going to be a huge factor in any game. And the second part is the Warriors seem to find a way to get 2 guys or 3 guys to give them just enough. And I'm not just talking counting stats, because I want to get to Kevon Looney in a second. I'm talking about just enough. And the other night, like, Clay didn't have a great shooting night, but he put up whatever it was, 17, 18 points. Jordan Poole didn't have a great shooting night. He was 6 for 13. He gave enough production. Andrew Wiggins, 7 for 17. Like, these guys, they didn't have great shooting nights, but they gave enough production to put them in a chance to win. And my question for Tyrese is, like, in going against star players, like, what should the mindset be? Should it be like, let's let this guy get 50? Should we continue to play drop coverage? Should we continue to not help on Luka Doncic? Like, what should the philosophy be around that? Because these guys like Steph or like a Luka or like a Giannis, they're capable of just going out and getting 40 or 50. And sometimes that's enough, and sometimes it's not enough.
Yeah, I think it's tough. I think there's so many different ways that people look at it. So I think that there's the side of, let the superstar get off. He's going to get off regardless. He's going to do what he does and contain everybody else. Or there's a side of, let's really lock in on the superstar and make somebody else beat us. I think it's almost dependent on what his teammates look like, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. Like over helping the Mavs series, which at times Phoenix did, which at times the Warriors did. And all of a sudden you've got 4 shooters on the floor and you're giving up 22 threes in the game. Like that, I understand what you're saying, if that's what you're talking about.
My thing is with Golden State, if you try to, all right, we're going to lock in on Steph and we're going to take, or if it's the point to where it's like locking in Steph and make somebody else beat us, don't matter what Clay's games will look like, and it don't matter what Jordan Poole's games look like. They got more confidence than anybody else in the arena. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different way to look at it, because I feel like if you really lock in on Steph, make somebody else beat you, that's when you get the special game from Clay or the big game from Poole that can really help them. It's just been very interesting to me, because I tweeted about the drop coverage early, like game 1. I said something about it on Twitter after the last game, and I just kept having people tag me on Twitter don't you understand what the Celtics are doing? Like, don't you get why they would be doing that? Me personally, no, I don't. I don't agree.
No, you understand the philosophy behind drop coverage, and
for sure.
Yeah, but playing it against Steph, and we'll get into some numbers here. But I'm with you on that.
It doesn't. It's not making. I'm not for it. I wouldn't be doing it if I was Boston. But I understand there's 2 different sides to it. The way I would look at it is more personality dependent or personnel dependent. Depends what the guys around them look like. I'd be more comfortable taking the superstar away and making somebody else beat you for, like, against Dallas. I'd be more comfortable doing that against Dallas than I would Golden State, me personally.
Do you think they're going to try to do that tomorrow?
I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. And if you really look at the series, like game 3, Boston outplayed them. Steph numbers aside, Steph had a great game. They outplayed them. Clay had a great night. They still outplayed them. I don't know that they outplayed them in game 1. They kicked their ass in the 4th quarter. They won the game. But they didn't, like, Draymond afterwards on his pod was like, or I don't know if it was a pod or the press conference, was like, yeah, we beat them for 3 quarters. Well, yeah, it's a full game. I get all that. But from the start in game 3, I was like, Boston, better team tonight, better team. I didn't feel that way in game 1. So in some ways you're like, all right, for most of this series, I feel like Golden State has been better. So why would you not mix it up? They blitzed him. How many times do you think? Actually, Tyrese, I'm gonna ask you. How many times do you think they blitzed him in this series in 4 games?
In the whole series?
Yeah, on ball screens. How many?
It can't be that many. Let's say like 12. Like
3 times. They blitzed him. They blitzed him 3 times. He ran 44 on-ball screens in Game 4. 44. It's the most in the game. It's the most he's had in the game. They blitzed him 3 times. So a little bit on drop. So the Warriors as a whole, 1.3 points per possession. Obviously, well best league average. League average or not league best offense is 1.16. So 1.3 for the Warriors as a whole. When Steph Curry shoots against drop coverage, 1.42 points per possession when he shoots. Okay. He took 12. I tweeted this during Game 3 about the drop coverage. He took 12 shots versus drop coverage in Game 3, and he scored 1 point. I'm terrible at math because I only have the number here, but he scored 1.5 points per possession on those shots. Like that's not a sustainable way to play Steph Curry. Now I get like the Celtics as a whole, they were 3rd fewest in the league in blitzes during the regular season. The Thunder, who weren't trying to win, and the Jazz, whose whole defensive concept is around Rudy Gobert and drop coverage, they didn't blitz either. Those are the 2 teams that blitzed less than these guys. But he's absolutely killing you. And I understand you don't want to give up the backside 4-on-3. You don't want to give it up. At some point, you've got to mix it up a little bit. The fact that he's averaging 34 on 66% true shooting percentage, and they blitzed him 3 times in 4 games. I don't know that their strategy is working. Am I wrong? Am I wrong in that?
No, I would mix it up and play 4-on-3 a couple times because they're the best defense in the NBA, and they got guys that can rotate at a high level, like Robert Williams stunting, getting back at the rim with guys rotating. Whether it's probably more likely Tatum and Brown rotating on the weak side and rotating from there. I would do it. I would especially mix it in, but me personally, I would probably start the game that way. But I think they should do it a little bit more, just to force Draymond to have to make decisions at the rim, whether he's going to score or not. Robert Williams got to be smart to force him to make more decisions where he's got to be more aggressive. But I would do it. I think if you have the best team in the NBA, I want to trust my rotations over anything before I let Steph just tee me up all night. There's got to be some sort of adjustment.
There's got to be some happy medium. You know what I mean? There has to be. I agree.
If they start blitzing, what would the Warriors' counter be, or what should it be?
Well, it's basically what they did to Dallas when they blitzed them, which is they carved it up. I mean, they probably saw what happened in the Dallas series, and they're inherently, like I mentioned, not a team that blitzes star players a lot. So they're probably like, all right, we have good individual defenders, and we're just gonna sort of rely on that. And that's the only thing that I can sort of think of in all this. Yeah, I just wanted to confirm one stat real quick before I mention it. Like, I did a detail episode on Steph Curry after Game 2. Obviously, it's behind a paywall. I apologize for that, but I don't run ESPN, guys. I'm sorry, but I talked about his gravity, and you're talking about what we have said. This Boston Celtics team, it's a team built for the playoffs. This defense is built for the playoffs. The number 1 defense in the league. They have been, by far since January 1. It's great defense. When he's on the court in this series, their offensive rating is 116.6, which is league best offense this year. Would have been league best offense. So what he's doing and what the Warriors have done when he's on the floor against this defense, it is remarkable. And if they're doing that against all drop coverage, you got to at least try something else. Yeah. You got to try something else.